It's about to get super cosmic because the Lyran Council is coming through with a very specific message, and we also have the white gold dragon from Lyra assisting this message. And it says connects you to the highest Christ light. Okay, these are seventh dimensional dragons here, so the energy is no joke. This is gonna get very high vibrational. And when I was tapping in, I pulled the Lyran's card from my own personal deck that I made, and then I pulled family and friends. And what I feel called to channel from the Lyran Council as somebody who feels very connected to the Lyrans as a Lyran starseed incarnated, or having parallel past lives as a Lyran, because we're multidimensional. They also want us to recognize that this isn't our first form and only form, and awareness, which is going to tie into this message, which is even crazy, is not just experienced on a human level. It's experienced across many different dimensions, across many different realities and many different experiences through many different types of beings. Okay, so what this is about really is recognizing everything as the infinite awareness, recognizing your family and friends as the infinite awareness. We're going to get into that, but what we have to realize is when we are not in the mind, everything becomes awareness. It's not that it's even becoming something, it's just that it always is that infiniteness, that thing that doesn't need a label. And the only thing that causes separation is when we are identified with the mind, when we are creating separation by describing an object. But that is when we are within the mind, right? That is the known, that is the memory, that is what has been taught. But what our natural experience is, the never ceasingness of our experience, is our awareness. No matter what we are thinking, no matter what memories we had, no matter what experiences we had, no matter who we've been told that we are, whether it's our name, our cultural upbringing, doesn't matter. We are the I am. We are the infiniteness. We are the awareness. That is, we are consciousness, right? First and foremost, what every single one of us is consciousness, including the Lyrans, including many different dimensional beings, whether you want to talk about dragons, whether you want to talk about elementals. Everything stems from consciousness. Everything that we see is consciousness. And when we come back to stillness, when we come back to awareness, how we can do that is by asking, who am I? Or am I aware right now? Because that just separates you from the mind a little bit. And then you can begin to practice from that point going forward. But the whole point of this is it to aim for something. It's about recognizing what we naturally just are, which is infinite. It is the I am. It can't be described, because then it would be limited by the mind. Do you understand? It's only when we are not in the mind, when we are just experiencing the I am, being aware of awareness, is when we are connected to awareness the most, right? So I feel like the Lyrans, what they're really trying to say here is they want us to view our family and friends as that infinite awareness as well, as a part of us, as a part of it, as a part of the all. And not just family and friends, but everybody that you interact with, everything that you interact with. Yes, you need the mind for this human experience. That's the whole point of us being in as awareness in this experience, is to experience duality. But duality is just an illusion, right? That's the whole point of the experience, is that it's non-dual. But we come here to experience the illusion of it being a dual experience, to then unlearn the dual experience, to come back to non-duality. And that is the ascended part of the awakening. The aspect of going through a spiritual awakening is what the Lyrans are saying. And Rupert Spira, Eckhart Tolle, the Bhagavad Gita, all these type of books, teachers, Neville Goddard, even anything or anybody that is teaching consciousness is very good to feed the mind, because we need the mind. But what are we feeding the mind also? We can reprogram the mind to have a better experience, a more healthy experience as well. I feel the Lyrans are saying at this time, so the mind isn't something we need to fight against or to race against and to get back into awareness, because what are we getting back to? Awareness has just always been here, right? We don't need to fight for that awareness. It's more so just about letting go and accepting and being aware of awareness, you know what I'm saying? So, and why this is beneficial to us by viewing our family and friends, or viewing an enemy, or somebody walking down the street, or an animal, or a tree as the same awareness, is because brings you back to your inherent nature. Because once you begin to objectify or subject something outside of yourself and create a difference, you're almost putting yourself back into the illusion. And that's the whole point, like we said, is to experience the illusion. But experience the illusion with grace is what the Lyrans are saying at this time. Experience the illusion with peace and your own inherent nature, because we don't realize how often we fall into the trap of the illusion, and the illusion meaning separateness, and seeing something, even the things that we love the most, the people we love the most, as something separate, because we're not. It's just the mind who is describing and identifying a person or an experience or a place or a situation, but really that's not even the whole totality of it. You can't even find the full truth in that. And we'll never be able to find the whole truth of the universe within the mind. That's why they're still searching, because it is only found in awareness, in our inherent nature, in infiniteness, in consciousness. And consciousness chose this experience. So your family and friends, you, me, your enemy, the people you don't like, the people you just don't care for, the experiences, everything is just the awareness. So rather than labeling people or subjecting or objecting people into certain categories and this and levels and that, or pedestals, even putting celebrities on pedestals, it's like, I was even watching an interview last night of somebody I looked up to, a rapper by the name of J. Cole, and love the guy. He's played such a big impact on my life, but who is the guy? And why do I love him? Because really what I'm seeing is a relatability of my own experience. But he is the I am as well. He is the infinite awareness as well. And we were so taught to just like pedestalize celebrities, people, lovers, experiences, wealth, money, all these things, that guess what? First off, outside experiences, because it is just awareness, because it is just yourself reflected back to you, will never be able to fully sustain you in happiness. That happiness can only be found within, first and foremost. And you can see that within successful people. You can see that within people who are still searching, and they have it all, bro. They have it all, but they're still searching for, whether it be validation, whether it be more money, whether it be even just a connection to self, to searching for truth, to searching for knowledge. It could even be. I was down that rabbit hole, just feeling like I need more knowledge to feel fulfilled, to feel peace. But no, what you need is the awareness, and to recognize that depending on an external source for your joy is to get wrapped into the illusion once again. Yes, we are meant to experience relationship, connection, love, fun, excitement. That's the whole point of the human experience. But if you want to constantly feel joy, if you want to find something that you can depend on full time, rather than in a limited way or in a non-unconditional way, in a conditional way, the best thing you could do is return to your awareness, to return home to within yourself, to love yourself, to hold yourself more fully as infinite I am, to see that to depend on something externally would be to depend on an external idea within the mind. It's so funny. It's such a contradiction. It sounds so simple. It sounds so complex at the same time, and it does take practice. This isn't easy. It takes practice to returning to something that can't be returned to. It's because it's always there, but the inherent illusion of returning to it, I guess you could say, takes practice to return to being aware of awareness, to being aware of the awareness within somebody else. Just as a higher dimensional being, they're at a super high vibrational consciousness, like the Lyrans or the Arcturians or the Palladians, right? But once again, they are consciousness being experienced, the I am being experienced. It's just different experiences of the infinite awareness. Everything is that. Everything is the one. So also, if we know that, who are we competing with? Who are we comparing ourselves to? What makes somebody more evolved or better than somebody else? What makes somebody more powerful than somebody else? A title that will be stripped from them eventually? All these things that people are trying to accumulate, these titles, these objects, these things that signify who they are. But who are they? And that illusion right there is what is causing suffering. Trying to find identity in our objects, in our experience, in our relationships. It just becomes a dependency. It becomes actually a point of suffering eventually, because it's something that we are trying to grip onto. I feel is what the Lyrans would, how they want to point that out to us, because what we are is unconditional love at the core. What we are is source love, and source loved us so much that it wanted to experience the mirror of itself, and it gave us this beautiful experience as consciousness. So, and it's not about then what's the point, or getting all existential. It's about recognizing that, oh my God, I can have the most blissful experience right here on a Monday with nothing. I don't need anything to depend on. I can feel the most amount of joy that I've ever felt in my life by simply just being. By recognizing that, oh my God, I don't need to depend on somebody else to love me, to feel love within myself. I don't need someone's validation. I don't need this number in my bank account to feel how I want to feel. What are people trying to do when they're trying to manifest? They're trying to feel better. How do you manifest? By feeling, being in the wish fulfilled, living in the end, right? So wouldn't the shortcut and the bypassing of all that manifestation stuff, wouldn't that be to just give yourself permission to go within and practice that, instead of practicing trying to gain something once again outside of yourself to fulfill you internally, which is just another illusion, which is going to keep you wanting something else, wanting something else. Yes, we're creators. We can manifest. We should manifest. But why depend on that for your joy? The only thing we can depend on that is never ceasing is the I am, is the awareness, and to recognize the without as the within as the without, recognizing that it's all consciousness, it's all the infinite awareness. Therefore, the bliss can only be found permanently within, and the seeking of happiness can never be found without, even in the person you love the most, depending on them. What happens when they're in a bad mood one day? What happens when they want to move forward with their life and they don't love you anymore? Not to say that. I'm just saying that happens to people all the time. True love will be found in the awareness, and in the awareness seeing the other as the awareness as well, including your family and friends. Whenever there's conflict, whenever you're annoyed, rather than getting wrapped into that illusion of, no, it's you and this and that, and I am this and you're that. It's just, it's time to drop the veil, okay? Drop the illusions the Lyrans want us to know, and to see everything and everybody as the same thing, which is awareness, which doesn't need to be described, which doesn't need to be objectified, it doesn't need to be labeled, okay? Because those labels come from what has been taught within the mind. But what happens when we are no longer identified with the mind? We are just observing the awareness that is observing everything else, okay? Your family and friends deserve that. They don't deserve a limitation based off of your perception of them. They deserve to be seen in their infinite nature, as you deserve to be seen in your infinite nature. And if you have this knowledge, if you're practicing this knowledge of no knowledge, congratulations, because you're on the path to enlightenment, even though there was no path to begin with. So yeah, this is what the Lyrans are bringing through today. Sorry, throat chakra energy, but like white gold dragon from Lyra develops your casual chakra, bathed in ninth dimensional Christ light. Okay, seventh dimensional dragon, bringing in that super high consciousness, ninth dimensional energy. I'm sure you can feel it. You might feel connected to the Lyrans. You might feel connected to the cosmos, and yeah, to even identify as a starseed is what I'm feeling at this time. That is something that, you know, can cause separation and identification where it's not needed, because what is a starseed? You know, what is a Lyran? What is a human? It's just an experience of the infinite awareness as well. But it's to recognize that consciousness is not limited. That's why it's important for humans and for us to connect within the new earth, within our cosmic family. We will be connecting with them in the near future, many different beings as well. It's just to recognize that we all come from the same source, which is the I am, and we all have that love within us. And to steer away from that is to get lost in the illusion, but to go on the inward path and to give yourself the love that you inherently are, to be in the I am that you inherently are. That's the key, to see everything and everybody as that. That's what creates the new earth. That's what brings in the oneness. That's what raises the vibration of the planet, because there was never separation to begin with. But we know that they wanted everything to be built off of that, because why? Keeps us in pain, keeps us in wanting, keeps the system going. But we never needed it to begin with. What you are, what I am, it's infinite. So that's what the Lyrans are bringing through today. If you enjoyed this video, man, welcome to the family. I'm so glad that you're a part of this. I'll be dropping oracle readings. I'm going to be dropping music. Let me know if you guys also want some more educational content. I love teaching spirituality. I could go off on so many different aspects and areas of the experience of the awareness. Whether it's like you're trying to manifest, or you're trying to let go, you're trying to do shadow work. Let me know what type of content you guys would like to see from me. There's going to be more oracle readings. Tarot readings are on the way as well, so it's going to get interesting. So please make sure you turn on the post notifications, subscribe to the channel, follow me on TikTok, comment below if you resonate with this energy, if you resonate with the Lyran energy, if you resonate with the starseed energy. But also, not just that, let me know how you are going to be experiencing the I am, what you are going to do to practice, how you are going to see when you're frustrated. Let me know your practice. Let me know your meditations. Let me know how beneficial it has been for you to be in the I am. I would love to hear about it. Like I said, we're building this community together. This is just me trying to be an influencer, because who is me? I am you. You are me. We are it. Okay, so thank you for being here. I'm glad I get to share my energy with you. You're sharing yours with me. So I'm going to see you guys on the next one. Peace and love.